All right, it is 6 o'clock. I will call this meeting to order. Roll has been taken. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Bart, second by Dave to approve the agenda. Any discussion at all? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Approve minutes of previous meetings.
So move.
Motion by Dave, second by Dick to approve the minutes of the previous meetings. Any questions at all or additions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public appearances. Let the records show that there's no one here. Monthly business. Approve the vouchers and the checks.
Make the motion to approve that.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Bart, second by Dave to approve the vouchers and the checks. Any questions at all? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Prior month income statement. Anybody have any questions at all on that? If not, we will move on. Council acts affecting the utility. I thought there was one.
I didn't see one.
Oh, there was one. No, there wasn't.
There was a,
There's a piece of paper in here for that.
Oh, did I put it in the back and I didn't put it in the...
It's on the back.
not in the back.
I didn't think that we had any.
Didn't we have the one where they approved the wastewater? Or is that?
It was on last one?
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. I stand corrected.
Okay, where is it corrected?
Consumption and loss. The mayor's voice is changing. Anybody have any questions on that? Moving on, the review of totals of delinquent customers.
Tell it's winter.
So that keeps going up from now until April. Sorry to say. All right.
Do we have any customers disconnected yet?
There's a few that have been off from a long time ago, but those are from ones that have boogied out.
What about the fellow with the generator in
He's
the
back
basement?
up and operational, the guy with the generator, water and electric.
Okay.
Okay. Reports of officials. Lori?
The only thing I have is for reviewing Community contributions one more time. Since we had our last meeting, I got a request from our banker Josh over at Landmark Credit Union. We used to donate to Children's Miracle Network and then stopped doing that because of COVID. And he said that they got it back up and wanted to know if we would like to donate anything this year. And they'd be doing, I think they're doing their program, it's like the first 2 weeks in February. So, in the past, we've donated $200 to them. So I need to know if you want to make a donation to them. And it's new, we're on the new contribution amount schedule or whatever. So we haven't contributed anything for 2024 yet. So we do have $3,000 available. It's not earmarked for anything. But yeah, like I said, we did $200 the last 2 years that we contributed, it was $200 each.
What is the Children's Miracle Network? Do you know?
Is that the one that Jerry Lewis used to do?
No,
That's
That must be
something
our
else.
district fee.
I guess I did not look and see what that is.
I don't know.
I was just gonna, yeah. Bart will look.
A network of hospitals that provide services to children in need.
So, the only thing we got, that would be, we still have that from last year, don't we? For the,
We didn't use everything.
No, we
did
didn't
use-
use everything from last year.
But how does that work? Does that doesn't add on, it just
No.
start back at
If we
1,000?
didn't use it, it was it. We have to submit all of our donations and payback requests by the middle of December to WPPI and get reimbursed.
and we have to, what are we, Digger's Hotline we have to go to? That's now, isn't it? We give them in the beginning of the year? Digger-
We haven't done that for 2 or 3 years either.
Ever since they stopped
The banquet?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your pleasure on the Miracle Network? Yeah, you're in.
Lori, how much did we get for the pedestrian crosswalks? I don't think last.
3,000 total. Is that the?
I don't know if we committed to that yet, Nick. 'cause
No,
of
I
the
didn't
fact
think we committed to the crosswalks.
Right with the grant.
We were just gonna make up the difference if they didn't have enough last.
Because that's a pretty sizable purchase, wasn't that like $4,000 or something like that?
So,
I think it's closer to 20.
Yeah.
20?
Nick, did you have any time to research what those decorative streetlights for downtown, how much more they were gonna be over the norm?
Yeah, I was gonna present that. So they provided 2 options. One option is $2,200 difference per light pole, and the other one's $4,300 per light pole difference.
I guess if you wanted to keep it in the community, that'd be another option.
That'll cover one night.
And like I said, Beal was talking about getting grant money or gonna attempt to get grant money for those crosswalk things.
Okay.
it. What do you think?
When was it anyways, February?
Yeah, beginning 1st of February.
That's when their drive starts?
I believe, yeah.
Okay, well, we can put that off till the beginning of next
Yeah, he
month.
said that normally they do the fundraiser between February 1st and the 15th, for about 2 weeks.
Maybe by then we'll have a little more information as what,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think there's a lot of needs for the Juneau community, you know.
yeah. So,
Okay, so we'll talk about it again next month?
yes.
Okay.
Anything else from you, Lori?
I don't think so. We're having, the audit is gonna be the last couple days of February. They moved it up a couple weeks this year. They have a new system for uploading documents and stuff, so we're all getting used to that, because they send requests and everything through a website. But, yeah, other than that, doing your end and getting ready for the audit.
Okay.
And we have Pam here tonight, so she's learning how to do a meeting in case I'm not able to. So I decided after a year we better make that happen.
Okay, learn fast.
It's fine.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Lori? If not, Nick, electric superintendent.
Well, I hope everybody had a good holiday. Month of December, we did some additional tree trimming at the beginning of the month. We were still dealing with some pretty soft conditions, so we weren't able to do too much. Now things are starting to firm up. We'll be able to get going on that a lot more. We did the trailer repairs I spoke of last month, both on the scrap trailer and the real trailer. Those are both fixed now. With the Christmas decorations, one of us do our morning drives to see which ones are out. There's always some of those are on GFI outlets, which trip often with outside weather conditions, so we repair those. Probably had 8 or 9 that we repaired throughout the month. We also had to do some fiber repair at the wastewater treatment plant. And Alex is going to touch a little bit more about that. We worked on equipment maintenance, oil change, tire rotations on all of our equipment, winterizing the back trailer, grease certs on all the equipment, and starting to take photos to get the bucket truck out for, see what we can get for selling that. The new bucket truck should be here end of, they said beginning of March, end of March, so that's a month gap, so who knows, but things keep getting pushed back. And then the streetlights that I was talking about with Dan with that, I sent over our engineered plans for East Oak, and they used Google Earth as well to take a look at the landscape to try to design a streetlight that would work for that area. They did not recommend having a light going towards the road and towards the buildings because of the buildings being so close to where those lights would be. It would be reflecting off the building and giving off way more light than would need be, and with the width of the road. So I do have the options. Option 1, which is more, it's our style lights with additional designs on it, which is $4,350 per streetlight pole, and then they have a more elaborate one that has some cast decorative top column tops, some more designed decorative plant hangers. So I'm going to just pass these around. I'm going to give these to probably Dan when he returns, or someone else from the city to discuss this. But as far as cost, there were more elaborate plans with, if we really wanted the lights to go off the back side, that's obviously just going to raise it up even more. But that's a big difference from our standard. Our standard streetlight costs $2,100. And like I said earlier, the lowest option is $4,350, and the next option is $6,400, and they just keep going up from there. So,
How many streetlights are we talking about?
so this first streetlight project is gonna be 6, and then when the downtown portion by the bars gets done, that's gonna be another 4.
So
So that'd be 10 total.
Where are the lights gonna start?
The lights would start at the post office.
Post office?
So it'd be, so from the post office east would be our normal standard design, and then it would switch to these decorative styles the rest of the way out. And then with the downtown being done, whenever that time frame takes place, we'd be crossing, going down Miller Street, and then changing those out to our standard aluminum poles as well, because that's all overhead, we're out converting that all to underground. So we're gonna change those out right away, so that'd be another 3 then.
It's all
That'd
on
be
the,
standard.
all on the south side of the street?
It'd be on the south side of the street, correct. But those are the 2 options. We should write option 1 and 2 on top. So we just- Option 2.
There's 6 total from Depot Street up.
6 total for this current road project, correct?
For the current.
Right. But you're thinking of the fancier ones just from the post office?
So it'd be
up?
3 from the
Three
post
down.
office up, yep. And then it would be another 4.
later.
So it'd be 7 total of the fancier streetlight poles.
So is this something that the utility would be paying?
No,
money
so
for, or is it-
we kind of discussed it lightly, I think 2 meetings ago. I think as a utility, we would hold to that $2,100, and if the city would decide to go, that they want these more decorative, they would pay the difference. Is what I'm thinking, I mean, you guys
Yeah,
can
that-
decide.
that's where I would be.
That would be my thoughts as well.
More sense for the downtown block.
And this also eliminates having those bands, if you guys go down those roads, the DPW has to have those bands on. These are constructed into the light poles too, so you wouldn't have those kind of eyesore bands going around the poles.
How many, so there's 3 light poles from the post office to the old Stogmo store. Right?
Correct. I think there's 3 on each block. You got your map up.
So
1,
why would
2,
all 3 of
3.
those be decorative? I mean, we have
There's
some,
kind of residential by the post office.
So yeah, the post office, because it's from the post office west, it was just kind of discussed that there was more businesses there, a couple businesses there, that's where it would start from. It doesn't have, I mean, that would be up to the city if the city would want to do that. I mean, it could just be just the downtown if that's what it's wanted, but I just want to give an option there. Whatever the city does decide on, this is kind of time essential because of lead times though. So I want you guys just to be thinking, I can make more copies of these so you guys can have them and start looking at them, but they didn't have, because of the holiday month here, everything, like they just gave this to me this morning finally, and I reached out to them, what was it, 2 meetings ago to start working on this. So I don't even have.
Are the footings and bases different for the?
No, they would be the
for a
same.
different sonotube or?
They would be the same as our standard sonotube 4-bolt pattern. So even if we would have
If we
to,
put up the standard ones, we could change them for decorative.
correct. They're
Yeah.
they're the same. I made that part of that streetlight design. That way, if a streetlight would get hit, we could put a standard one up in the meantime.
That works for me. Yeah, I think even when the chamber, when we did that study with MSA, we kind of determined that our business district is kind of from the post office west, Richard, if that's what you're asking.
yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
But that's all I got. I mean, as far as the utility goes, I don't think it's up to the city, I guess.
Yeah, it's up to the city if they wanna spend more than the $2,100.
But you two guys know that it's kind of a time essential for me, time crunch to get these going. The good part is,
All your underground work would be the same.
right, all the underground, the good thing is I do have enough poles in stock to at least get lighting up. Say it did go past that time. It's just you're just doing things twice, obviously, which, whatever, it is what it is.
You know, depending on the budget, you know, this year's project will complete that road project from Depot up to Fair. And if we gotta put up standard lights for now and pull a couple of them down, I think, there is 3 from the post office up to Depot, or up to Fair Street, isn't there?
Right. But this is also a good time to absorb some of those costs with that grant money.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So like I said, if we could do that, I think it's a good plan. I'm glad to hear the bases are the same at least. At least you can proceed with your underground and get your bases cemented out and whatever. And if they, like you said, if you would have an incident where you lose light, you could always pop up a standard one.
Right.
Good plan, Nick. So I guess I'm hoping, David, that maybe we get some money from the chamber towards this as well.
That would, I'm sure that could probably happen. They were for redoing the downtown, so.
In some fashion, but not like this.
All right.
The chamber had hanging baskets.
It was just off the back side, so this would be a little, and it's just like a pipe that comes out. It's just like water. That's all.
Yeah.
And there's room to accommodate the military banners as well.
Yeah, and these do have the pipe banners built into the streetlights too, Dan, so.
Super, super. Sounds like you're on the right path. It's just a matter of getting the consensus from the city and the chamber on what they want to see hanging up there.
The only thing that I tried getting added, and I don't know what's gonna happen down the road, is I can't get any streetlight manufacturer or pole manufacturer to include a receptacle on the bottom of the pole. Yeah, so if the Christmas trees are to continue with this new design of the road, I don't know what's gonna happen with this new design.
Do they have them at the top?
They have them, yep, they have one, 8. They have one at 14 feet up from the bottom.
Well, maybe these you could fish something down and modify them with the field.
Right, I got that one down by the Gentlemen's Club. I have one just done that way where it comes down off that GFI and
I think these old granite ones are probably older than Mac, so they're probably.
Max shot.
The yeah, otherwise it'd be Ross.
From afar.
The hanging baskets somewhat got discontinued by the chamber because we lost the gentleman that watered them died.
Well, that was unforgivable.
Well, you know, but he ran around and he had a pole and pump that watered them.
Well, that's like what Mayville does downtown. It's actually really big flowers everywhere. It's really pretty. It's a nice touch.
Well, they've got the flower pots that sit on the
Right.
so,
So-
you know.
I'll give these to you, Dan, and then whatever you guys please.
Have you got some actual colored pictures of these poles? Or can you
I can request that.
Yeah, you know how that is when we're trying to convince a group.
Yep.
Is this
Sounds good. Sounds like you're on the right path.
Pictures of them up
is this
somewhere.
like red bronze or is this?
So they do have different paint schemes, but these is just the brushed aluminum look to kind of same standard that we have going on. But
Well, those don't really fade, so that's the nice thing about
Right.
that is there's no fading or whatever. You scratch it, it's
but
not.
they do come in black. They come in. I think the other option was bronze, like a brushed bronze, black over stroke or something like that. So
fortunate thing about these, they're all pretty well shaded.
Right.
All right. Anything else from Nick? Short and sweet. Nobody has any questions for Nick?
Only last thing I had was I'll be attending the MUW conference Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, so it'll be a snow stop sometime. So we can slow driving bills.
Okay. All right. After that, Alex.
Okay. Well, as Nick touched on, December 19th, Staub hit the fiber line going to the wastewater treatment plant. As many of you probably heard. I guess I could probably take some fault for this, being that when the utility locates were called in, Nick and Nikki had showed me on their phone app that the fiber line goes from this pole over to the building, but because it's not traceable, they didn't flag it or mark it, so when push came to shove, they were burying the gas line behind the building. As soon as they stopped the trencher and were looking in the hole, I knew it immediately what to hit. You know, it's like, oh shoot, I should have told them that it was back there, and we should have at least made a approximate marking. So anyway, we were dead in the water for 2 days right before Christmas, as far as no phones, printers, internet, anything. Nick and Nikki came out to help us with that, as well as Josh with Cook's Telecommunications, and it was repaired that following Thursday for a rough sum of $4,200. And in the same week, December 20th and then January 2nd, Staub also dug into our RE300 chemical lines, 2 separate occasions. At this point, we started running chemical through a different way because this is the 3rd time they've hit these lines. It's a plastic pipe going through the yard that happens to be in the same place that they're always digging. So, and because it takes so long to fill that pipe and that chemical is really expensive, we just started feeding in a completely different place. We're feeding chemical to the front end of the process as opposed to adding it after aeration. The downside to that is that we will probably make more sludge from it because we're pulling the phosphorus out ahead of time as opposed to letting the biology treat it first. But now at least we don't have to worry about them running into our lines and breaking them and burning more chemical up. So for the next one, well, until we have the new plant running, it's just easier for us to add the chemical at the front end of the system. The Staub plans to continue doing underground for the next roughly 2 weeks, and then they should be simmering down on that for us for a little while. That's as far as the wastewater plant goes. From the last meeting, we talked about updating the ordinances for the service abandonments, and I just heard back from the lawyer to my email 2 hours ago that what we had written up should work. I don't have anything in our agenda today to approve it, but we will have that for next month. December 6th, we completed startup training for our new generator at well 3. It is officially operational and it is working properly. There's just a few minor things for the electrician to still finish up, which is at least it's running. So we do still need to paint the walls where the old MCC panels came out, and next spring we'll have to restore the site for lawn as well. Sensient has had a pretty poor wastewater stream for December as well, so they'll likely
Put you back on speaker.
A little bit there.
You're back?
Whatever.
Hello?
If Nick could elevate his phone a little bit to get it off the table so that I'm not getting every third word.
Okay.
Can you set it up on something?
He's got it.
I'm holding it.
Sensing had 4 wastewater streams, so they're likely gonna get a couple of severe surge penalties. We're gonna be hauling some extra sludge in the next week or two, try and get caught up on our end. These loads will be ultimately billed to Sensing. December 7th, I visited the Horicon wastewater treatment plant just to see their oxidation ditch, which is actually similar in function to the one we're putting in. They had a couple of gripes about it, so at least and a couple of things I can look out for, but a lot of the issues were addressed with our design, so that should be better. December 12th and 14th, Wandra completed the taps on Western Avenue for water and sewer for Sunset View subdivision. We did previously talk about providing curb stops and shutoffs for each unit. We did purchase these, but another lack of communication between, I guess, myself and the engineering team, it didn't get written into their project bids. So Wandra started providing equipment already now that they've started. But I checked on what they've been putting in, and it's exactly what we would have put in anyway. So talking to our vendor, frankly, we can just return the parts that we bought. So unless we have, for any reason, want to hang on to them, it's $8,000 worth of inventory.
About that new,
Depending on if East Street,
How long did it take to get them?
it's,
Seeing it takes so long to order and get something.
it's
that stuff's
pretty readily available. It's the only thing different would be we bought them at a reasonable price that I can only assume would go up in time. So I don't know if we want to sit on that or not.
I would return half.
Yeah, that makes sense, is returning half.
Because,
Got
so there'd be 30, 15, you'd use, depending on what they build out there, duplexes or homes, standard homes.
But then also, do we run into the same thing where they want to just have a builder come in and build it to our spec? Are we necessarily,
Or we just get up front with them and stay ahead of the communication, tell them that we provide, but like you purchase from us, but.
right, so the only thing with that is talking with the foreman for Wandra, they said they've never had a municipality provide parts. Apparently they always just go off the spec and that's what they get. So apparently
That's usually how we've been doing it when we've done subdivision extensions.
was that we would provide it or that?
That they would provide it. I
Right.
know when we did Max Street, Mayfair Drive, we provided them. Not that, I'm talking me as a contractor, not as the utility.
Then return them.
So we might as well just send them back, keep a couple. Yeah.
No. You know they're not gonna go down in price.
I
Well,
would keep like at least
sure,
some.
yeah, 10 or something. Okay. And then finally, to our, pass these around. Many of you likely saw that we did our chlorine survey via Facebook this last month. I got a handout here with, just if you're curious of the responses we got. I kind of mapped out the responses as well. It, just to summarize, it does appear that the majority of the people that said the chlorine odor do generally live closer to the wells as opposed to the further away people. But I guess it doesn't necessarily show for sure any one of our wells being better or worse than the other. Yeah, I guess it's all a lot of answers that you probably could have guessed. Mostly in the higher end of people saying we have chlorine in our water. People say there's more chlorine than there was before. Interesting, I thought, at least interesting stat is that majority of people are still drinking directly from the tap as opposed to using filters. Majority of people have water softeners. And the only discretion that I had in the data is that people with water softeners were less likely to say it was a 6 as opposed to people without water softeners. So that seemed to be the only major data differences that I saw. The idea is that why we did this is just hopefully the changes that we make in the coming time, you know, if we can put the same survey out in a few months, hopefully get some responses that are more favorable.
I can tell you, Alex, when I went door to door, the vast majority of the people didn't know about it until they were reading it on Facebook.
Okay.
So I have very few complaints. Some of them right in my own immediate neighborhood that they noticed it at certain times. But most people with water softeners usually aren't softening their drinking water. Usually they're softening their faucets, their toilets, everything but the kitchen sink and the outside courtrooms is usually the hard water.
And ultimately that could be part of, you know, people noticing it if they're taking baths or stuff too. You know, you don't smell it as bad if you're not soaking in it.
And I'm thinking on my survey, the vast majority of complaints are more so on the east side of 26 versus the west side of 26.
It, on the results we got online, at least it's kind of everywhere.
Okay.
There's no real pattern.
No, it seems like it's all over.
I would say more south and east before it's up north.
Yeah. I think I'm on a dead end.
Well, at least this also shows that we're doing something about it too. You know,
That's trying to get some goodwill with customers here, so.
Yeah, I think you've done a real good job with that. Real good.
Yeah, I think even some of the written complaints you, Alex, have commented that, at least you know what's going on, or we know we're making some kind of good faith effort to correct it.
But that's all I have.
Anybody have? All right, does anybody have any questions for Alex? Comments? All right. President, I have nothing. Dick took my thing. I thought Alex did a very good job on the survey. Everybody that I've talked to that filled it out, very good, very happy with it. So I think it was well timed. So that is all I have, other than the 29th of February, I'll be at WPPI for a Board of Directors meeting to save millions of dollars in interest. I believe they said 66, but that's a lot. I kind of like those are easy to vote on, to save $66 million, so. That's all I have. Mr. Mayor, do you have anything?
No, just that I concur with what you said there about the survey. I think communication is key, keeping people on board or informed that we are trying to do something here. I personally have, with my properties, both uptown and where I live, I notice it rarely. But, like I said, I think you're doing a good job, Alex. Keep that out there like every other week if you can, so
Yeah.
that they feel good about it. Even if we're not making any headway, we should keep moving forward.
And because there's a fraction of customers that aren't on Facebook, in the next month, it looks like we're talking about putting just a note in the bill anyway, just to go to our website, click the link for anybody that may not be on Facebook, so.
That's all I can ask. That's
Okay,
about all I got, man.
all right. Any old business? Any new business?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mo-
You just don't want to do it.
Motion by Bart, second by Dave to adjourn. Any discussion at all? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We're done at 6:41.